Thank you, Cindy. Hello, everybody. I'm Rob Van Dyheim from the City of Escondido. We're located in Southern California, San Diego County area. I'm going to be talking to you about how we grew to use Cityworks as an enterprise solution. We go on the first slide here. So as the title states, think enterprise, start small is how we did it. First slide here that I want to kind of go over is our approach to solutions. Local government, we kind of came to this conclusion that local government cannot solve all problems alone. So we're constantly looking for partnerships. Anywhere we can establish these partnerships really helps us to accomplish our goals. Solutions need to be improvements for everyone involved. Sometimes that's difficult because when you're thinking enterprise, one department might take on a little bit more work to benefit 5 or 6, 7 other departments. So you really need to change the mentality of the way people think of things. They need to think of themselves as part of an enterprise and not just part of a department. And when they start changing that way of thought, they start to agree that an improvement for the organization really is an improvement for themselves. Know the big picture and how to break it into smaller pieces. That was a key component for us because once we broke the things into smaller pieces, but with the enterprise model in mind, we can start going after the easy wins and then build on those successes. So some of the things that we most frequently look for in a solution is that partnership, right? The community engagement, our customers as part of that solution. Of course, you have staff. You always want to document and outline and really dig into the efficiencies you're trying to create, the effectiveness, cost, return on investment. This next item here is really important. You really want to create a system that has the that collects data, and that data drives those decisions. It really brings on that change. It establishes the metrics of success. So we really see ourselves as our organization as part of the big picture. We need to work side by side with other entities like school districts, NGOs, community groups, using our resources to complement one another. Even within the city, no department can achieve city goals on their own. Align city goals to combine resources that take advantage of professions and skill sets. Once you buy into that, it leads to removal of siloed technologies, pursue economies of scale, technology drives workflows, data-driven decisions are everyday events, and solutions become more a holistic vision. On this slide that you're seeing right now is really kind of a list of the departments that use Cityworks. I really wanted to bring this up to kind of illustrate that this really is an enterprise solution. If you look at the number of departments using it, it really talks to that. On the left-hand side, you see more of our AMS Cityworks users, and on the right-hand side, you see more of our PLL departments. And I want to emphasize something in here is when I talk about build off success, you see on the left-hand side, down at the very bottom, storeroom, we really tried to bring in storeroom. We were using a different technology, and there was a lot of pushback. They didn't really want that change. But as we started building success and getting more and more departments within utilities and within public works onto Cityworks, next thing you know, they were asking to bring our warehouse onto storeroom. It just made sense. So you can see that as an example of how we were building on success, and something I was having a hard time, implementing a change in a certain area, then became an easy change. So on the next slide, I want to start talking about the software side of the solution of enterprise. I'm kind of looking for this next slide here. Go advance one more slide. There we go, right there. Okay, so I want to talk about the software side of our enterprise solution. The magnitude of our investment in Esri products exists because of the Cityworks integrations and vice versa. In order to meet all of our needs, we really needed to kind of expand just past the core of Cityworks and Esri. So we went on to purchase Highland On-based document management and electronic plan review. And we also added the Timmins portal, That was selected because it better needs to have a customer-facing, highly customizable portal. And that was a key part for us because we see our customers as part of that solution. And if we weren't meeting their needs, they're not going to be using the solution, and it all just kind of falls apart. So, and as we were kind of addressing a piece out of a time, we needed to configure it for the piece we're working on and then expand from there and so on and so forth, right? So having something like that was critical for us because we could customize it each step of that way. So, and then our vision for community engagement as part of our solution required us to purchase a rock solid piece. And that community engagement piece was been, just instrumental in all of our success in a lot of the areas throughout the city. So that was a huge win for us. I also want to talk a little bit about why we consider this as a success and as an enterprise solution. One of the metrics of our success is how widely is it used. And you saw from that list of the departments using it, that it's being used all across our organization. The fact that I can tell people that after Outlook, Cityworks is the next widely used software technology in our organization, that's a huge thing. We're very proud of that statement because we started off with this enterprise vision, and then we just started taking it one step at a time. And today we can actually say that. So again, we're really proud to be able to say that because saying that brings along all of the efficiencies and how effective this is really as a platform to help us solve our problems and get our workloads done. There was a time I was knocking on doors, looking to bring departments into the vision. And now at this point, I kind of have a waiting list. I have people, looking at the data. They're looking for changes, for improvements. And they're coming knocking on the door saying, I want to make some changes based on the stuff I'm seeing. And the stuff that they're trying to measure up against their success is they want to make those changes to make that happen. So they're coming to me at this point. So now I've established this partnership that can continue to grow. And other departments who are not using Cityworks are coming to me and say, hey, how can I get on this? Because I work with these other departments. So these cross-department workflows now become something that's expected to happen within our organization. So they're looking to get on board as well. So believe me, it's hard to start. And that's why you have to go after the easy wins and then just build on that success. Cityworks knows we can take care of a department for sure. You'll see lots of examples of that, but you should also know they can take care of your entire enterprise. The point is, start small, expand based on knowing it can cover your entire enterprise. So think in that way. It definitely will pay off. Each department is a piece of that puzzle. As you put these pieces together, the city team comes together and your return on investment increases. I think one of the reasons why it's so successful as a product is because it has an open foundation that can grow with you, creating efficiencies for your organization, and just as important, your customers. So far, we've talked about enterprise, start small, our approach to solutions, reviewed a list of departments on Cityworks, the software side of the solution, but let's talk a little bit about change, and then we'll talk about that in the next slide here. So change is difficult. We all agree with this. We all come across this, and it's something we need to address. I'm always perplexed by the roadblocks people put up and the reasons why we can't get something done, why we can't move to a new platform, why we can't look for a solution. And one of the biggest things that come across is the time is never right. This is not the right time. Can we do this next year? We're just so busy. There's all these other reasons. And I come back with these three basic things, right? Why isn't the timing to improve operations ever the right time? Why isn't the solution more important than the pain of change? Can you really afford not to meet the needs of staff, customers, and the community? And there's not really a lot of debate around that. When I bring that up, they don't know really what to say, what to reply to that. And so that kind of opens the doors of, okay, show me, prove to me how this is going to benefit, right? So, and I go through that whole process, and that's where I get the buy-in. At least I get the green light to move forward, and that's really what I'm looking for. And I'll go on to an example here is, COVID has catapulted the use of technology forward. More importantly, the willingness to accept change. It has expanded the thought of access everywhere and conducting business virtually and digitally. So we have a situation here, right? And so what I'm trying to say is take advantage of a situation. This is a situation that's here with us today, but there'll be other situations that you'll come across, and you need to look to see where you can align those situations and take advantage of it to help you with that change process. We went live with Cityworks PLL for 6 departments. I'm talking engineering, field engineering, planning, building, fire, utilities engineering. We did all this on July 1st. So right in the middle of COVID, when everything's going on, it was the right time. We were already building up towards this. We were already getting ready for it. And so it could have easily been one of those time issues, but it turned into, let's take advantage of this and let's keep moving forward. Because the idea that all of a sudden we were having a hard time with, giving them access everywhere, or having them thinking about, interacting with their customers digitally. And then it turned into, let's do this now, right? We need this, we want this. We want to be able to access this stuff from home. We want to be able to interact with our customers wherever we're at. So, we implemented Cityworks PLL, the Timmins portal online applications and payments, Highland on-base document management and electronic plan review, all with 100% of my staff working remote, working from home. Also, our implementation vendors, the Timmins group was working remote. Highland KMBS were working remote. All of our training happened during remote sessions. And many of the departments had staff either working in the office or remote from home. So again, take advantage of your situation and try to find a way to move forward. So on the next slide here, I think it's a good time to really start talking about success. And one of the things I really like to bring up, and this is something that happened recently, we just went live with Cityworks PLL with our building department. And we had a customer developer interacting with staff, and our staff was asking the customer, hey, please, will you bear with us? Well, we just went live with a new system. And the customer simply replied, your system is great. I can do everything from my office during COVID. And that was a big statement because they appreciated that. They felt safe doing that. They didn't have to come into City Hall and interact with our staff. Same plus, I'm gonna save 20K in printing costs. So now on top of that, we're saving them money because we're changing the way we're doing business because we now have electronic plans. And then they also talked about office hours. They don't have to worry about office hours. And that's a big thing because we can receive electronic documents, we can receive electronic plans, and they don't have to do that during office hours. They can do that in the middle of the night or whenever they happen to be working, from home, from their office, whatever. They don't have to worry about coming in and meeting us during our office hours at City Hall. So that was a big statement. So the customer felt great about it, right? The customer is part of our solution. They felt good about it, which also made staff feel good about it. So that was a success, and we're going to continue to build off of those types of success and those types of feedback that we're getting from our partner. Next, I want to talk a little bit about business license on Cityworks. So, sorry, I advanced the slide there, and I'm still back on the previous slide. There we go, sorry. So business license on Cityworks. I wanted to let you know that you can do business license on Cityworks. We went live with this about a year and a half ago, and we're able to now measure some of that success. So we used to be understaffed with lines at the counter. Now somebody at the counter is kind of a rare thing. Staffing is not an issue. We are doing more than just collecting a fee and issuing a license. And our old system, that used to be basically what it was collect a fee, issue a license, track the renewals. And the data that was collected at the time wasn't really being used. So 75% of our new business licenses and 35% of the renewals are happening online through that Timmins portal. And that's been key for us because we're able to customize that to meet our customer needs. And I think our numbers kind of support that idea. So the geodata is being used in community development, economic development, code enforcement, police, fire, public works. What I'm trying to say here is that the work that's happening in business license is benefiting a lot of different departments in a lot of different ways that wasn't even really fully visioned or expected, but it's happening. It's allowing these departments to be more effective and be more successful in the services that they're providing. So the last bullet point here is an important one too, is data-driven decisions come from dashboards. So we're delivering that data to dashboards so people are able to see that. It's in mobile apps, workflows are increasing compliance, targeting potential business opportunities. So our economic development department is looking at the data and they're seeing what can we do? How can we improve our business community? They're using that data. And we're matching sales tax data. We're starting to do this, matching other data sets with the data we have to give us insights on the health of business in our city. So that's been a huge win for us as well. And the next slide here, we're going to continue on the next slide, and we'll talk a little bit more about success, because I think success is an important part of growing into an enterprise solution. And one of the things that we get asked a lot about is our graffiti program. So we'll have people come into our city, like say someone from HUD, and they'll want to drive around our city and look around and see what's going on. And one of the first things they always say is, we don't see any graffiti. What's going on? How are you guys taking care of graffiti? We drive through other cities and we see a lot of graffiti. And the idea is that we found a solution. And the theory is the right technologies will connect and combine to create systems working together. You know, forming a complete solution. We initially started off with just Cityworks and Esri, and we're out there taking care of our graffiti stuff, but we weren't really gaining ground, and we were still struggling. So that was a key component, is to have that core, have that start. But until we found that partner and that community engagement piece, did it really come together, right? And that's where that rock solid piece came in, to create that community engagement. So now, right now, one of the things we're really happy about when we measure that success is graffiti was removed less than 4 hours from the time that it was reported during business hours from Monday through Saturday. So if you can picture that, somebody reporting graffiti and it gets removed that quickly, that's reinforcement of that action. And citizens and other partnerships that we have, those people who are reporting the graffiti, the fact that it's getting removed and they're getting notified, that just perpetuates success in the use of that. So again, I couldn't stress enough, we couldn't solve the graffiti problem without community engagement, reporting where it is. So a lot of people say, well, how does it really work? And I think that to sum it up, to just give you a quick little narrative of how it works, is, you know, a citizen spots graffiti, they use our app to report it, which it generates a service request. A lot of times there's multiple service requests for the same graffiti, so we combine those and create a work order. That shows up on the Cityworks mobile app for staff out in the field. They drive from work order to work order, removing the graffiti, capture the data. The person that reports it is notified when it was cleaned up. Police use the data for gang info and arresting taggers and that sort of thing. All costs are tracked. Attorneys pursue prosecution and restitution. City collects funding based on location. Overall crime associated with graffiti is dramatically reduced, and the blight in our city is eliminated. Since then, we've kind of added online waivers to take care of private property. That allows us to go on private property and remove graffiti. That's been a successful thing, because that's just another map layer on the app for staff out in the field. They can say, oh, it's private property, but let me look on my app. There it is. We've got a waiver on file. I can go on there and just remove it. So the reason also why I want to talk about graffiti program as success, because when I talk about building on your successes and moving things forward, and one success leads to another, is this same program can be used for potholes, homeless encampments, weed abatement, trees, street and traffic lights, storm drain, and so on. So this model can be reapplied over and over and over. So when we have that conversation with different departments, and they say, well, prove it to me, and say, well, okay, let's talk about this model we're using for graffiti. It could also be applied to what you're doing, small adjustments, and we can move forward. So again, it's building off of that success. So in a nutshell, that's kind of what I wanted to kind of, you know, present to you, letting you know that An enterprise solution in Cityworks is definitely a possibility. We went about it just kind of one step at a time, and we really kind of grew into this. And I wanted to let you know that you can do that also.